whenever I go to the gym, there's always like gendered stuff that happens. It's a really gendered place. And so my gym, so I live in Colorado Springs, and it's known to be a bit more of a conservative town. And the part of town my gym is in a conservative part of the town. It's a long story as to why I live there, but take it for what it's worth. So anyway, I was in a cycling class at the gym the other day, and the air conditioner wasn't working. And so the instructor at some point was saying just about how hard it is, and that afterwards it's going to be really hard for her to take her bra off because of how soaked it'll be with sweat. And was saying that she wrote to a company and told them that they should create more that have zippers on the front so they could take them off more easily after a sweaty workout. And I thought it was a good story because she was explaining what it is, how it's a struggle that like people who make bras, let's say, are people, let's say, who don't understand that that's an issue that happens. Maybe it's like a man was in charge of the design. So I appreciated the story, but then she started talking about, she looked around the room and then she said, so everybody in here knows what I'm talking about except for the one guy that's in here. And she kind of pointed him out. And so there's a lot to unpack with that. So first of all, yes, that means that she made an assumption that there are only women in this room and one man. So all women and one man. So that's an assumption where I specifically was left out, not seen accurately as who I am. There's this sense of feeling invisible when that happens. Those of you who know what I mean, you know what I mean. So then, usually I just kind of keep it in that area of it just being very personal and specific to my experience. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, how many other people did she maybe just make assumptions about in this room? And therefore, they too could be feeling invisible right now. For one, let's say, what if somebody in this room has had a mastectomy and they are therefore unable to wear a bra? So there's an assumption. What if that man, or the person that she assumed to be a man, was actually, for one, not a man? For two, what if he was wearing a bra? Obviously, she's leaving out people who are non-binary identified. She's leaving out anybody who's not wearing a bra, which could also be those in the class who maybe have smaller chests and they wish they could be wearing a bra, but they can't. And so there's a lot of different people that her comment was potentially leaving out. And so the reason I'm sharing this is because oftentimes when these kind of things happen, I just think about my own experience, or I'm just having my own experience. And something about this made me remember that I'm not the only one who is being marginalized or made invisible in those moments. I'm working on how and when to speak up about that. I still am not going to approach her about it. If she ends up being one of my instructors and it happens like over and over and over again, I am going to say something to her. But, I thought about the other people too. Maybe if I do say something about my particular experience, maybe it'll remind some of these instructors that there's other people that they're making assumptions about as well. I also took this as a time to think about my own language. When is it that I'm potentially using language that is creating that same feeling in someone else, where I have left somebody out because of the language I'm using? So I just will toss that out there to you as something to think about as well. And I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, like especially what are other ways that you think that we can work on our language? There's so many other different ways people can be marginalized. And then also you feel free to share what it's like for you when you are marginalized in that way. And so I enjoy chatting with you as always, and we'll be back to you again soon.